This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
And the time right now is 4:27 here. We made it all the way to Thursday. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin with Hurricane Dorian as it has gained more strength overnight. And people on the East Coast are now bracing for that storm to make landfall.
Yeah, we're learning it's now become a Category 3 storm. And we're also getting a look at the damage now left behind in the Bahamas. Absolute devastation there. We know at least 20 people are dead. And as you mentioned, the people on the East Coast all the way up to Virginia really are bracing for the impacts of this storm as it continues to make its way across really the waters near the U.S. mainland. So we're going to be checking in on this with Todd and Alyssa and see exactly where the track is. And we're going to be looking at what people there are doing. So we do want to talk, though, about our weather here back home. Yesterday, beautiful day, Alyssa, and we have more of that coming, right?
Yes, so today's going to be very similar. We're going to see those highs into the 70s, low humidity. Now, with that, we are starting a little cool this morning. So people, as you head out, you are going to want to maybe grab a light jacket. It's only in the 50s this morning. Those temperatures will continue dropping off yet a little bit this morning. That's just because we saw those clear skies overnight, nothing to insulate us from that dry air that's moving through. So today we're going to start around the 50s, and then we are going to climb into the mid 70s by the afternoon with light winds and mostly sunny skies. We could see a little bit of fog develop in some areas, but for the most part, we're just going to see another calm, quiet, and beautiful day. We do have some chances of showers and storms in the forecast as we head towards the weekend. All of those details coming up.
All right, Alyssa, thank you.
All right, well, we want to talk about the red line.
We do. We are a few days in now, and a lot of people have been taking advantage of the new rapid transit. And a lot of people wanted to know, is it going to be as rapid as it is being billed as?
Yeah.
So we took a timer, and we wanted to see how long it took, especially during rush hour. So our Cameron Riddle rode the red line, timed it out, and we are going to let you know just how long it takes and whether or not it is worth your time to take a ride on it.
Yeah, and so you can plan out your commute a little bit better if you do plan on taking the red line. Another story we have for you today is part of our Hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career series. Erin Lish is looking at how students are getting kind of a jump start into the film and animation industries. Pretty exciting, kind of a fun, creative career path. So she'll be at the J. Everett Light Career Center talking about how students are getting prepared for their careers while they're still in high school. We'll have more on this coming up. Plus, we'll take a look at your local news, weather, and of course your traffic updates all morning long. Stay tuned. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Coming up on Good Morning Indiana, a missing 10-year-old girl found dead in a trash bag. The charges her stepmother is now facing.
We're learning more about the dump truck driver accused of causing a deadly crash out in Avon, what court documents say about his drug use before the crash.
Plus, how fast is Indy's new rapid transit system? Coming up, RTV6 puts the red line's timing to the test. It's 4:30 on your Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Alyssa Donovan is here to break down your forecast for you on this Thursday. And we have another beautiful day.
It's going to be gorgeous today. We have high pressure in control. The only little snag is it's going to start out a little cool this morning in some areas.
It was chilly.
It was chilly walking in today. So people are going to want to grab a light jacket because temperatures right now in the 50s and continuing to drop off yet a little bit this morning. 53 right now in Crawfordsville, 55 in Peru, and it is 59 degrees right now in Indianapolis. As we head through the day, those temperatures will climb into the mid 70s. So what's going on is we have high pressure in control. We are seeing just a few clouds filter through this morning, and we could see some fog develop in some areas, but for the most part, it's going to be a quiet day. So high pressure is in control. What's going to happen next is we are going to see a low pressure system just move through tomorrow morning. That could just bring us some light drizzle. Besides that, though, we'll continue to see some dry conditions today, tomorrow, and into Saturday. By Sunday evening, that's when we're going to see the next chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Temperatures today starting in the upper 50s this morning will climb into the mid 70s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies.
Alyssa, thank you so much. We're taking a look right now at traffic here over on the west side of town, I-465 and West 56th Street. A little bit of construction in this area. We have some long-term road work in the northbound lanes here over on the west side. Most of this road work is done in the overnight hours with a few lane closures there. You can see in that right lane. So other than that, everything is traveling smoothly. Let's take a look right now down to the southeast. Beech Grove, good morning to you. This is I-465 at Emerson Avenue. Traffic, as you can see, is traveling smoothly. No crashes on the roads right now to slow you down. Well, a community gathered together to heal after the search for a missing 10-year-old girl took a devastating turn.
Last night, hundreds mourned the death of young Skylee Carmack. Investigators found her body yesterday hidden inside a trash bag in a shed behind the family's home. Skylee had been missing since Saturday afternoon. Her stepmom is now accused of killing her, and the alleged crime hits close to home for one Gas City resident. Sonia Federhoff's nephew was killed by his own stepfather 19 years ago.
Our family knows. Our family's been emotional all day about it. It's hitting home, and I know how the family's feeling. I know how the father's feeling. You know, my brother went through the same thing. It's hard, and to see this, I think, you know, it'll ease a little bit of pain.
34-year-old Amanda Carmack is being held on preliminary charges of murder, neglect, strangulation, and domestic battery.
The dump truck driver accused of causing a crash that killed a Danville couple in their 80s admitted to using heroin earlier that day. That's according to the probable cause filed against Danny Williams. He faces several charges in connection to Wednesday's wreck on U.S. Highway 36 at County Road 625 East in Avon. The crash involved 11 vehicles, including a school bus. Williams is also the suspect in a hit-and-run incident that happened 3 hours before the deadly crash.
It has only been in operation for 4 days, but the Red Line has already caught the interest of thousands of Hoosiers thanks to its promise for rapid service. So RTV6 put the Red Line to the test, keeping time to see how long it takes the bus to travel from downtown to Broad Ripple during rush hour. So how rapid is rapid transit? Passengers heading home last night traveled from the state capitol to Broad Ripple in 35 minutes. After sampling the service, riders say the Red Line is the future.
I think that this is a great asset for the city. I think it'll make traveling back and forth a lot easier, a lot more efficient.
It's going to allow people to go to so many more parts of the city so much quicker, and people are going to say, I want to live close to the Red Line. I want to live close to Indigo, and we're going to be able to go to work for cheap. We're going to be able to go to work much quicker and more efficiently.
So as you saw there, it took those two passengers 35 minutes to get from Capitol Avenue to Broad Ripple Avenue. It took the bus a total of 44 minutes to travel from the downtown transit center to 66th Street, where the completed portion of the Red Line ends.
The familiar yellow bicycles that you see across Indianapolis are getting a new look. Later this morning, leaders with the Pacers Bike Share program will unveil an updated version of the bikes. The unveiling will be part of a ribbon-cutting ceremony to kick off the expansion of the program. 21 stations, 275 bikes are being added. The celebration all starts at 10 a.m. at the site of one of those new stations on Westfield Boulevard and the Monon Trail.
The new iLearn test results are in, and as expected, they were low. The results were made public yesterday and showed a dramatic drop in language arts and math scores. The State Department warned of the drop that could be coming, saying it was more difficult than the previous iStep test.
We know there is frustration with the iLearn for this year. Although those implementation results were expected, they can be very, very difficult. We are hopeful that our General Assembly will take a hard look at our state accountability system and address some of those concerns, so a year from now we're not having the same conversation.
And as RTV6 has reported, schools will probably not be penalized for the lower scores because of the transition period. Governor Holcomb has already called for a one-year delay in tying school grades and teacher evaluations to iLearn.
At 4:35, Governor Eric Holcomb is now on a week-long overseas trip to meet with government leaders in South Korea. Yesterday, he met with South Korean Prime Minister Lee Nak-yeon in Seoul to discuss how the state can support Korean companies here in Indiana. The Hoosier State is home to 10 South Korean-based businesses that employ about 1,500 Hoosiers. Holcomb also stopped by the demilitarized zone and visited American troops. He'll travel back to Japan before returning back here to the States. Hurricane Dorian continues to make its way towards the Carolinas after strengthening to a Category 3 storm. Coming up, the very latest on that storm's path.
And a Midwest state is the first in the country to ban flavored e-cigarettes. Why Michigan made the bold decision when we come back.
And it's going to be another beautiful day in the forecast. Temperatures in the mid-70s coming up. I'll tell you how long this streak of dry weather is going to last.
Learn and get loves.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 4:39 here on your Thursday morning. We are monitoring this road construction here on I-65, both directions at Lafayette Road. Traffic is still getting by just fine this morning. Use caution, watch for crews in the area.
Here's a look at stories that are making national headlines today. The NFL is celebrating its 100th season, which officially kicks off tonight. The Chicago Bears will host the Green Bay Packers at Soldier Field. It is the league's oldest rivalry, dating back to 1921.
And Vice President Mike Pence will wrap up his visit to England today after meeting with Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The White House says Pence will discuss the UK's departure from the European Union, as well as tensions with Iran and China.
The White House is allocating nearly $2 billion to fight the opioid crisis. More than $900 million will go to state and local governments for treatments, recovery, and prevention. Another $900 million will go to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Last year, opioid overdose deaths in the U.S. dropped for the first time in decades. President Trump suggested more improvements down the road, saying Americans will be amazed by the results of the new initiative.
The U.S. and China have agreed to return to the negotiating table to discuss trade. The meeting will be held in Washington, D.C. early next month. Both countries say they will continue discussions ahead of the in-person talks. China objected to a new round of tariffs imposed by the U.S. earlier this week. That includes everything from diapers to shoes to TVs. China argues that the new tariffs breached the agreement reached at the G20 summit.
Hurricane Dorian is gaining strength as it nears South Carolina and is now a Category 3 storm. More than 1 million people along the coast are under mandatory evacuation orders, and it's already responsible for at least 20 deaths in the Bahamas, and officials expect that number to rise. ABC's Megan Tevrizian is in Charleston, South Carolina, with the latest.
Dorian re-strengthening to a Category 3 hurricane overnight and might make landfall as it inches closer to Georgia and the Carolinas.
Boarded up and packed, and so I'm on my way.
A hurricane warning is in effect for the entire South Carolina and North Carolina coastline, which is set to face the brunt of the storm and a dangerous storm surge of up to 8 feet. South Carolina's governor asking anyone who lives in the evacuation zone to get out.
It is the water that kills people. It is the water that is the real danger.
FEMA setting up operations at Fort Bragg, collecting more than 250 trailers filled with food and water. And the Coast Guard moving operations inland, ready for potential rescues once the storm passes.
The preparedness part is pretty much over. We're in the wait and see what kind of complexity we're going to be dealing with.
Dorian passing through Florida, toppling trees at its peak, knocking out power to some, but the Sunshine State, for the most part, was spared. In the Bahamas, new video this morning of Dorian's utter devastation. Homes and buildings ripped apart, left in pieces. The death toll now 20, but expected to rise, with more than 200 people reported missing. 70,000 people in dire need of clean water and food after surviving a nightmare.
I got on top of the kitchen counter and just watched my whole house come apart.
In South Carolina, we're already getting reports of power outages. Charleston, which is known as a tourist town with people walking around, well, the last few days, it's been a ghost town here. They're already experiencing high tide, so with this additional rain and potential storm surge, we could see several feet of flooding before Dorian passes through. Megan Tevrizian, ABC News, Charleston, South Carolina.
Megan, thank you. Storms like Dorian are adding to the affordable housing shortage. Disaster costs for homeowners have doubled from about $7 billion per year in the late 1990s to $14 billion per year so far in the last decade. Renters are also vulnerable to being displaced, as affordable apartments are often located in flood zones where land is cheaper.
In terms of housing, obviously, there's a lot of negative impact to home activity, sales activity, even construction in the months immediately following a natural disaster.
In Panama City, where Hurricane Michael hit last year, rental prices jumped about 15% after the storm. We saw similar price jumps of about 17% a year after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. It is 4:44. Alyssa has a look at our day ahead.
And it is going to be a beautiful day. Those temperatures are going to be just a little bit below average, a similar setup to what we saw yesterday. This is our continue of that dry streak of weather I've been talking about. Storm chances are back in the forecast on Sunday. Now, we do have a little blip tomorrow where we are going to see some chances of light drizzle, maybe some light showers out there by tomorrow afternoon. Right now, though, starting cool this morning. We haven't had those clouds to insulate us from that cool, dry air that's over the area. Indianapolis at 59 degrees this morning, Kokomo at 54, Bloomington at 59. So a cool start today. You're definitely going to want a jacket as you step outside. So what's going on is we had that cold front move through yesterday. Now we have high pressure in control. That is going to keep us clear and dry throughout most of the day today. And as we head through the day, we'll just see some light clouds move through. Temperatures will drop off a little bit yet this morning. So we're going to be in the low 50s to the north by the time you're heading out the door, right around 57 degrees here in Indianapolis by the time you're heading out. And then we will just see mostly sunny skies, just a little bit of cloud coverage by the afternoon, only hitting the upper 60s by the noon hour. So a little cooler than we were yesterday. And then we are going to see those highs into the mid 70s. So just a bit below average. By tomorrow, we do have that small chance of some light drizzle, maybe some showers in the forecast. And that's all from a low pressure system that's going to move through tomorrow afternoon. So you can see that'll just bring us some quick hit and miss showers throughout the day, possibly just some drizzle in most areas. Not necessarily going to see it at your house. And if you do see it, it will be short-lived. I wouldn't cancel any plans. And then we'll be left with some cloud coverage for your Friday. By Saturday and Sunday, we are going to see some nice conditions for the most part. Saturday, we are going to see those temperatures into the 70s. Once again, 76 on Saturday. Those clouds will increase throughout the day. Still going to be a beautiful day with those dry conditions. And then Sunday, staying in the mid 70s. That small chance of showers and storms returns late Sunday night, and then we'll continue to see that chance on Monday as well. Today, we could see some patchy fog develop in some areas, but besides that, starting very nice this morning, just a little cool in some areas, so you will want to be prepared for that. Temperatures starting in the 50s, mostly sunny skies throughout the day. That humidity is staying low today, so it's going to be a great day to get outside. Highs today reaching the mid and upper 70s. Looking ahead, Friday, that's when we have that small chance of some light drizzle in the forecast. Temperatures will be into the upper 70s, staying pleasant for most of the weekend. And then we have those chances of showers and storms back in the forecast late Sunday. Also seeing those chances on Monday before we're seeing those temperatures climbing back into the upper 80s Tuesday and Wednesday.
Alyssa, thanks. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is on the northwest side, I-65 here at Lafayette Road. You can see construction in both directions of the interstate. Traffic is still able to get by those. That is great news. You'll just want to use caution as you head through that spot. And let's take a look right now at our map. You can see some red here on the northbound lanes as you're heading towards I-465. Again, just from some road work near 56th Street. I think traffic's still getting by there just fine. You'll just want to take it a little bit slower so you can watch for crews working in the area. Let's take a live look right now from our INDOT traffic camera on the north side, I-465 near the White River. You can see traffic here is traveling smoothly in both directions. No delays here to slow you down.
Michigan has become the first state in the U.S. to ban flavored e-cigarettes. The ban started yesterday and will last for 6 months. After that, government officials can choose to renew it for another 6-month period. During the ban, officials will work on permanent regulations to target vaping and e-cigarettes. The state's governor says it is a necessary step to prevent the younger population from picking up the habit.
At 4:48, with the start of the new school year, some students are coming home with some new requirements: drug tests. More school districts are randomly drug testing students or requiring them to take drug tests. It's most commonly used for students in athletics and extracurricular activities. The opioid crisis and legalized marijuana are adding to concerns about youth drug use. Nearly 40% of districts across the country are requiring these tests.
It's got to be used in a combination with something else, and it also has to be used as a tool to identify problematic behavior and risk factors, not as a punishment. It can't be something that's punitive where we're expelling the kids from school, taking them out of the activities that might be helpful for them to remain drug-free.
Well, the research into whether drug testing students prevents drug use is mixed. The American Academy of Pediatrics does not recommend it.
Football fans lined up to buy their own Bud Light Victory Fridge. After the break, the special significance it has to Cleveland Browns fans after their long losing streak.
And new video released of the physical altercation between a high school student and a police officer. New here at 5 o'clock, details from the federal lawsuit filed against the officers involved. But first...
I'm Vinny Politan. Today on Court TV, our continuing coverage of the dramatic trial of Ohio versus Skylar Richardson. Prosecutors say Richardson was a high school senior who hid her pregnancy from everyone, including her parents. And when the child was born, she killed that child and buried her in their backyard. The defense says the child was stillborn and she is not guilty of murder. Today, it's all about forensics. We're live in Ohio on Court TV.
And don't forget, you can watch the all-new Court TV live on your mobile device by visiting CourtTV.com. We'll be right back.
Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. 4:54 here on your Thursday, and this is a live look at traffic. The biggest area of construction right now we're monitoring on the interstate I-65 here in Lafayette Road on the northwest side. You can see the orange barrels in both directions, but traffic is still getting by just fine.
Indiana University has announced another show as part of its bicentennial kickoff celebration. Comedian and actress Tiffany Haddish will be making an appearance on the Bloomington campus for the start of the fall semester. Haddish is known for her role in Girls Trip with Jada Pinkett Smith and her stand-up special They Ready on Netflix. She will also serve as the new host of Kids Say the Darndest Things, premiering right here on RTV6 on Sunday, October 6th. Her show in Bloomington is scheduled for Saturday, September 28th at the IU Auditorium. Tickets go on sale online at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
At 4:55, fans of the Cleveland Browns lined up for a chance to buy a Bud Light Victory Fridge. Last season, Bud Light filled the fridges full of beer, placed them in bars all around Ohio, and they were kept locked up and only opened when the team finally broke its 19-game losing streak. The streak was broken against the New York Jets, and now fans want to buy one of their own. The pop-up store is selling the appliances. It's sold out in just 3 hours. Not surprised.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. That'd be fun to have in your bar.
Yeah, that would be a good reason to have people over to party.
Yes.
Got to show off your new Cleveland Browns fridge.
Yeah. All right, we do want to talk to Alyssa right now about our forecast today, and it's looking pretty good.
It's going to be another beautiful day. Those temperatures climbing into the mid-70s, staying dry. That humidity is low, mostly sunny skies. We are starting out a little cool this morning, so you might want to grab a light jacket as you head out the door. And then tomorrow, some light drizzle possible throughout the day. Temperatures climbing a little bit more into the upper 70s. And then we're staying pretty nice throughout the weekend. Small chance of a spot storm by Sunday evening.